Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have another tag to do for you guys today. I believe it's called the pregnancy, childbirth, and parenting tag, or motherhood tag, something along those lines. But there are quite a lot of questions here. I've got 20 questions to answer. Hopefully this video won't be incredibly boring and long, but I'm gonna go ahead and answer these questions. I was tagged by another Julie from A Beautiful Horizon, so I will make sure to link her video below, and then I'll put all my questions down in the description as well. These questions seem to start fairly easy and then get harder as they go on. So question number one, how old were you when you had your first child? I was 22. Number two, what was the hardest thing about being pregnant for 9 months? So a lot of these questions are like, your one child. As you guys know, I am pregnant for the 5th time, expecting our 5th child. So I'll try to just kind of blanket statement over all my pregnancies. The hardest thing about being pregnant for 9 months, just getting uncomfortable, I guess, like not being able to lean over, not being able to take deep breaths near the end of pregnancy, your belly just being in the way, not being able to sleep for having like a Charlie horse or having to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I guess I just listed a whole bunch of things, but overall, the uncomfortableness is, I think, my answer. Number three, can you think of any good thing you enjoyed during the 9 months? Definitely, hands down, baby movements. I absolutely love feeling the baby move, feeling all the kicks and hits and rolls, and the movement is the best. In your opinion, were all the things you heard about childbirth accurate? That's a tricky question. I think they were accurate for that person. Childbirth is different for everybody. Everybody has a different experience. Everybody has different pain tolerance. Everybody has just different births. And so I think it probably is accurate what people say for them, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be that way for you. Would you have handled childbirth differently if you could redo it? No, I wouldn't have handled childbirth differently. No, I'm very happy with how my births went. The only thing I always say about my births thus far, my 4 births, the only thing I would change about them is I wish I didn't tear and need stitches. Like after every birth, I'm like, I just wish I could give birth and not need stitches afterwards. So that's my goal for number 5. I have hardly even thought about it actually though, because I just think, what are the chances I've had stitches 4 times? I'm gonna need them again. But I don't know. I don't know what else to do to avoid them. Anyways, that's not quite the right answer or quite what they're looking for, I don't think, but that's my answer. Number 6, what would your advice be for someone who is about to have a baby? So I'm not sure what they're asking here, if they mean like in raising a child or in giving birth. So someone who's about to have a baby, let's just say it's about birth, okay? I had natural unmedicated childbirth, and so if that is what you're looking for, if that is what your goal is, the number 1 piece of advice I would give you is don't think of the epidural as an option. That would be my first piece of advice. I went into birth my first time, like for one thing, planning a home birth, you can't have an epidural. But epidural wasn't an option for me. It was just like, no, I'm not going to have an epidural. And so then I didn't get one. If I'd been in the hospital, I could have changed my mind and gotten one. But I think a lot of people go into birth thinking, I would love to have a natural birth, but if the pain gets too bad, I'll get an epidural. And let me just tell you, the pain will get that bad. And so if that is in the back of your mind, like if the pain gets that bad, I'll have an epidural, then you will, because the pain will get to that point, if that makes sense. But if you're not planning a natural birth, then that's totally your choice, and that's totally fine as well. Number 7, what has been the hardest thing about being a mom? The hardest thing. Okay, my hardest thing about being a mom as far as parenting goes is when my kids lie. That is one thing that I just, lying and potty training, let's say, I'll say both of those. Potty training is kind of scary, it's messy, you hardly want to go out of the house when you're potty training. So yeah, potty training is one, and definitely number 2 is lying. I That is my least favorite thing to handle with the kids. It's trying to discipline them appropriately for it. It's trying to get the proper answer out of them. At a young age, it's trying to get them to understand the difference between lying and being honest. That's just, as far as parenting goes, that's my least favorite thing to deal with. What has been the most rewarding thing about being a mom? Okay, the most rewarding thing. It's hard for me to pick one thing. I love being a mom. I love having 4 little ones that look up to me, who want me more than anybody else, or my husband. Some of them pick my husband over me oftentimes, coming to me for advice. I love seeing them do the things that we have trained them to do without asking. That is definitely one of my favorite things, is when it clicks and it's not just me always telling them to do something, but them doing it on their own without being reminded. Like Elijah lately, like he holds the door open for everybody. Just the other day we were in a big lineup for something and Elijah had opened the door, the kids and I had walked through, and then we were gonna like enter this big lineup, and then we'd walked like halfway down the hall. I turned around, like, where's Elijah? And the people behind me said, oh, sorry, your son's still holding the door for everybody. And there was like a huge lineup of people. Like we were just getting in line for something. And anyways, but I was proud of him. Like he'll hold the door open for everybody. So just little things like that, seeing them do those things that you told them to do for so long, like be a gentleman, hold the door open. And then they start doing it without being told to. That's just a really nice milestone. Number 9, what was the most surprising thing you've discovered about being a mom? I guess how impatient of a person I am. I wouldn't have thought of myself as being an impatient person, but how much patience you need being a mom, being a parent, raising children. You need a lot of patience. Number 10, what was your best memory you have involving your child? So I'm not going to think about a specific memory involving each child. My favorite thing to do with our whole family is to go out and spend time together, whether it's at the fair or we're going out to eat or we're just going for a walk, going to the park. I love doing things outside of our house as a family, because in our house we're just kind of all doing our own things and it's not like the devoted family time. But I love the devoted family time, vacations and trips and things where we're just all together really enjoying time together. What was the most exciting milestone? Okay, I don't know. Definitely kind of the same thing I said for the most rewarding thing about being a mom is watching them do things on their own that you have trained them to do. Learning to walk is definitely one of my favorites. When your toddler learns how to walk, when they start to learn how to read, just when something that you are trying to teach them clicks, it's just amazing. Number 12, what's the worst thing your child has ever done? Oh, that's a tricky one. Again, I don't want to like point out my specific children and let you know the worst thing they've ever done. Probably one of my children stole from a store, just candy, but stole. And then when confronted about it by, it was either my husband or I think it was me first, lied about it. And then my husband had to deal with it later. Again, they lied about it and we said, are you telling the truth? Because if you are lying, there's going to be more trouble. And then they continued to lie. Like it took a long time to actually get them to admit it. And so it was just like stealing and then lying again and lying again. And just those things that as your kids get older, I think you have to deal with more of those like emotional and mental issues. Anyways, so yeah, that's probably the worst. The most like trying time. What habit do you wish your child didn't have? Okay, in general, tattletaling and being bossy. I'll just throw those out there. Those are just a couple things that we're working on right now. What habit of theirs makes you really proud? Some of these I feel like are kind of redundant. Like, what habit of theirs makes you really proud? Again, because I feel like this question is kind of redundant, my answer is going to be kind of redundant. But again, it's doing the things, it's not really habits that they have just kind of come up with on their own. It's mostly things that we have trained them to do that they are now doing on their own, and it's becoming a habit. So for instance, brushing their teeth. I love when it's bedtime and I say, who's brushed their teeth? And I didn't tell them to. And usually the oldest 2, maybe 3 have already brushed their teeth because they know that's part of their bedtime routine, or after breakfast doing their chores and like doing these things habitually that they don't need to be reminded about because it's become a habit because we've drilled it into them for so many years. Number 15, do you share any similarities with your children, in my case, both physically and personality? I mean, definitely. They all have something, right? Elijah, I think, is quite like me in his being outgoing and liking to talk to people. Both of the girls, they are just like I was as a little girl. Like, they like a lot of the same things. They love their dolls. They love to dress up their dolls. They love to be little mothers. Like any babies they see, they want to be like talking to the little baby and taking care of the baby. Zara is asking all the time if when this baby comes, she can feed the baby milk with a bottle. Like, and that's what I was like as a little girl, just loving babies and dolls. And then Simeon, I have a hard time knowing what he has of my personality. He is so much like my husband that I have a hard time pointing out what is like me. Maybe something will come out as he's a little bit older, but I don't even know. And then physically, they all have different aspects that are similar to my husband or I. Where would you like your child to be in 10 years? Well, the scary thing is that we'll have 4 teenagers in 10 years, just about. Zara will be almost 13, so that's a little bit scary. By the time your children are teenagers, a lot of your parenting, I think, is done. Like, a lot of the foundational parenting is done. Sure, you're still teaching them and you're still mentoring them and trying to influence them in certain ways, but a lot of that groundwork is totally done by the time they're teenagers. Especially Elijah in 10 years will be 18. Like, he'll be set. Like, he'll be doing what he wants to do, you know? If he's living in our home, he'll still have to follow our rules, but his like I said, that foundation of our parenting is completed. So I would definitely like to see them all having asked Jesus into their heart, all living for God and choosing that for themselves. All children have to come to an age where it's not just their parents' religion and their parents' Christianity and relationship with God anymore. They need to have that for themselves. So I definitely want them to have made that choice personal for them. And then also I shouldn't say every, because they can do different things than what we've taught them to do, and that's okay. But I would like the characteristics, godly characteristics, good behavior that we have taught them to be their own choice now and their habit. So I want them to be kind, not with us telling them to be kind. I want them to choose kindness. I want them to choose humbleness. I want them to be good citizens, be helpful, be caring, and all those good characteristics. I want them to do those. Number 17, what is something having a child has taught you? Patience, as I already mentioned, and being humble. Realizing I don't have all the answers. I fail. And yeah, kids definitely teach that to you. Number 18, did you imagine you'd be a mom at the age you became a mom? I think so. I got married at 20 and we thought we'd wait 2 or 3 years. We ended up only waiting a year before getting pregnant. But I mean, I always wanted to be a mom and was very happy to be a mom at a young age. Describe your child in a single sentence. Okay, this might take me a minute, but I'll try to think of a sentence for each of my kids. Elijah is outgoing and kind and helpful. And he is always full of energy and he loves to do things. He is not a homebody, and that's how he's kind of like me too, and that he wants to, like, what are we doing today? Where are we going? Can we go do this? Can we go somewhere? I want to go do this. Like, he wants to be out and doing stuff. That was not a single sentence. Okay, I'll try to do better with the next one. Charity is strong-willed. She is so sweet and motherly and helpful. And she is compassionate. Simeon is quiet and reserved. He will definitely let you know if he didn't get his own way though. And he's always loved little babies, and he's always had a doll because he also has that like that caring gentleness as well. Zara loves to sing. She is a feisty little toddler. You can tell she must have older siblings because she definitely holds her own. She's tiny and mighty. Okay, last question, number 20. How have you changed as a person since becoming a mom? Oh my goodness. I already said more patient and humble. Well, I'm kind of working on those all the time. But how have I changed as a person? It's kind of hard because I did become a mom at 22, which is quite young. And I think I have changed a lot, matured, and just kind of figured out my own personality, I guess, in that time as well. And so I have definitely changed in the last 8 years. I definitely have more, I guess, compassion and sympathy for others too, in seeing what they are going through, and knowing that it's not easy. Like, being a mom isn't easy. You see kids that are really misbehaving, and you might think, oh, I would do this if it was my kid or whatever, but like, you don't always know, right? You get what God's given you, and some people have different issues in their parenting than other people. All kids are different, and it's not easy. It's not easy making choices as a parent. So to see other parents, I definitely have more sympathy, not necessarily sympathy, but I don't judge like I may have before having my own children. So those are all my answers. I hope I can make this into one video. I think I can. It'll be a little bit long, but oh yeah, I can make this into one video. It might be a long video. Thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. I do a lot of mommy videos, homeschooling videos, family vlogs, all that kind of stuff. I will put the questions down below. I'm not going to tag anybody today, but if you want to do this tag, I would love for you to do it. Post your link down below after you do it, and I will go over and watch your video for sure. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.